Three, two, one, go!
Hey, Luther, did you know that 10 plus 10 and 11 plus 11 equals the same thing?
Oh my god, Sarah, now you're just embarrassing yourself again. Of course it's not correct.
It is true, loser. 10 plus 10 equals 20, and 11 plus 11 equals...
22.
And did you get it?
Get out.
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 Did you get it?
Michael, Luther, they didn't even help when things went south. They betrayed me. All I wanted was to spend time with them. With her. But they couldn't have forgotten me, though. Right? Right? They all hated me. I
Never forever.
No. If I can't go home, they don't get to either.
Season 2 does begin with harmonization symbolizing a better time. A time before Sarah was killed, and before her friends were trapped inside the game by Sarah. And right away we can see a photo that Martin took of both him and Sarah. And then we see the group photo that we covered in the last video, once again, 63 Fun Gang. Sarah begins a soliloquy stating the following, as pictures of her and her friends play in the background.
I remember that night. That night was unlike any other. It was to die for. I used to loathe that day, letting it destroy me from the inside out for 30 long years.
And in one of the photos displayed, we actually can see a picture of Sarah with her girlfriend, Lily. Lily was Sarah's girlfriend as mentioned in the first episode of Needlemouse, where Sarah is saying all of the people that she misses. She goes on to state in the first episode that she misses her mother, her father, and Lily. And if we refer back to Luther's tape in the season finale of the last season, he does state that Sarah did have a girlfriend at the time she was killed.
Her family, her loved one, her girlfriend at the time was...
And so if we put these two things together, we do now know that Sarah's girlfriend's name was Lily. Sarah then goes on to state that she finally got what she wanted, for her murderers to be trapped in a hell where she is God.
But I finally got my revenge. You are all mine now, whether you like it or not.
But then the noise of a phone ringing interrupts the tape. It's now October 2008. A person named Tom's voicemail goes off, and someone else leaves a message.
Hey, it's Tom. If you're hearing this, it means I'm probably not at the phone right now. Be sure to leave me a message though. I'll be able to pick up soon.
Hey, Tom? Remember that Lost Sonic compilation disc we were talking about like a week ago, okay? You might want to come over today. Shit goes way deeper than we both thought.
So from this episode we can gather that from the start of this new season of Needlemouse, Luther, Martin, and Michael have all continued to reside deep inside of the hell created by Sarah. The year is now 2008, and the last installment featured Luther being transported into Sarah's virtual hell in 1995. Meaning that Luther, Martin, and Michael have been stuck inside of Sarah's virtual hell for the past 13 years. Which brings us to a new duo who have just found the haunted discs. 13 years after, Sarah's killers were trapped. The title of the next installment is called Speed Duo 64 Presents Genesis Sonic Comp Beta 1. And from this we can deduce that Speed Duo 64 is the name of the pair's YouTube channel, a channel they created to cover these haunted tapes. And as for the duo's name, it's Tom and Kyle. The video starts with the duo's YouTube intro, which is honestly pretty good. I can't play the music because of copyright, I don't think, but the music is pretty good. The duo then go on to state that they have something they want to announce to their fans. Remember that that Sonic disc comp from the 90s, right? We may have found a demo for it. Epic. They then go on to showcase some in-game art that Tom was able to uncover within the games, as well as a loading screen, a character sprite, and a few screen caps. Although what's strange is that the sprites vary between screen caps and they don't know why. But as for us, we know the real reason behind the sprites varying between screen caps. It's because Sarah has control of the world of the game, and she is able to change the form that she takes on, which we've seen in previous tapes. Which would also mean that she's able to change the sprites of the people that she's trapped within the game. But then the video cuts out and we're shown Luther watching from within the game. Stuck inside a Tails sprite for the last 13 years, he stares at the screen. And we are shown what the past 13 years has done to the rest of them. Their sprites deteriorated as red dots surround their new forms, followed by a high-pitched screech. Sarah watching their every move. And within the digital hell, it appears that Luther attempts to sneak up on Sarah to try and attack her. But with Sarah's all-seeing eyes, she's able to stop his attempt with the breeze and says one thing. "I don't think so, Luther." So from this episode, it seems that Luther has gotten tired of the constant torture that comes along with being inside of this new hell that Sarah's put him in, and has been trying to attack Sarah in an attempt to free himself from this hell he's been put inside. However, these attempts are failures, with Sarah able to stop Luther's attacks with ease. In this installment titled Speed Duo 64 Presents, it begins in the same manner as the previous episode. The video starts off with Tom narrating, saying that him and Kyle have been busy with school, so they haven't been able to cover the game as much as they would have liked. Tom says that they were able to get more screen caps of gameplay. Sonic, welcome to Sonic Land. And then the screen glitches, and we're shown a blacked out version of Knuckles, who we know to be Michael. And as I was writing this script, I thought it was very important to recap who is embodying each Sonic character. So quick recap, here we go. Michael was the first person to be captured by Sarah and put inside of the Knuckles sprite. Michael was an accomplice in the death of Sarah at the party, where everything went wrong. Martin is the man who was trapped inside the Eggman sprite within the game. Martin's death was slow and painful. Sarah went even as far to rip out his eyes, blinding him. Luther is the main person that Sarah is after, now trapped within the body of Tails. Luther was the one who suggested the group bury the body so that nobody find out that they killed Sarah. And in the next frame, we can see an updated version of the Polaroid we saw in the season finale of Needlemouse, Season 1. 63, Fun Gang, Forever. And then we see Luther, frozen in place, stuck inside the game, and with only one thing he can look at: the Polaroid. And that's when we get a flashback from 1963, days before Sarah would be murdered. We can see Sarah and Luther talking to each other on a roof, and then Sarah brings up how her and Lily, her girlfriend at the time, are going to a party, and asks Luther if he can come. Because Lily and Sarah had just started seeing each other, she wanted him to come for support. And she also doesn't want people knowing that they're dating because people were very homophobic in the 60s. And Luther reassures her that no matter what happens, he'd be by her side.
Together forever.
The flashback finishes and we're back to Luther. He stares at the screen, able to see the outside world, just as it's able to see him. And that's something that we learned from Martin in a previous tape, where he said that he could hear people laughing, people enjoying themselves, and life just going on without him, because he was stuck in the game. Luther stares at Thomas from within the game.
I have to reach him. No, I need to reach him. However, whatever it takes. Thomas, you have to hear us.
And immediately after that last phrase is spoken, Sarah appears out of nowhere, grabbing Luther by the neck and throwing him on the ground. Sarah's form mutates, and a mutated version of her human form is revealed. Luther tells her one thing:
You can't keep doing this. I won't let you.
And Sarah responds, "You're not getting to him. This is interesting. Even after making you aware, understand, but you are not on my radar anymore, Luther. He is. Sarah reveals her face and says one more thing. Try to keep this interesting for me. And we are shown the perspective of Tom on the phone with Kyle. And that's when Sarah shows Tom an image on the TV. An image of Luther. But as this installment comes to a close, we know that Luther has been trying to break free from Sarah's hell, regardless of what it costs him. And because Luther tried to make contact with Tom, Sarah sees Tom as a way that her prisoners could be broken free. So to prevent this from happening, she's going after Thomas now. The final installment, up to date, is called Duo. And this installment starts in a way that we've never before seen in the series. It features Sarah waking up, lying in darkness. She says that when she woke up, she didn't know where or who she was. Lost in the darkness, slowly her thoughts came back to her. And she says this.
When I woke up, I didn't know where I was. I didn't even know who I was. And 30 years, it remains like that. Alone, only with my thoughts. But little by little, over time, I started to remember Martin, Michael, Luther. They didn't even help when things went south. They betrayed me. All I wanted was to spend time with them. With her. But they couldn't have forgotten me though, right?
Sarah is in complete denial, saying they couldn't have forgotten me, right? And Luther appears in front of her, together forever.
Together forever.
Sarah begins to lose control and says, if I can't go home, they can't either.
No. If I can't go home, they don't get to either.
And that's when a barrage of flashing images fills the screen as Sarah comes to realize the hatred building inside of her. And then Tom cuts in, telling his audience that they've been overdue for an update. Ever since we dug into the files, I haven't been feeling the greatest. I've been having headaches ever since and some weird dreams. I can never remember them fully, but I can vaguely recall the face within them. And that's when Tom shows his audience the face he drew from memory, the face haunting his dreams. Tom then goes on to say that he's never seen this person ever before, and is confused as to why they keep appearing inside of his dreams. Kyle's not answering his phone. I just need someone to talk to. Tom's partner Kyle in the Speed Duo 64 channel isn't answering his phone, and Tom is at a point where he just needs somebody to talk to. I'm just so alone, man. A distorted voice fills Tom's head, getting louder and louder. The voice drives Tom to walk over to the box of VHS tapes, labeled S tapes. Also, something very crucial to note about this box that Tom digs into is that it's labeled Dad, meaning that Tom is Luther's son. And let me explain as to why. Because if we refer back to the season finale of season 1, in Luther's confession tape he states that he is in possession of the tapes before he was taken by Sarah into the game. He says that the box of tapes just haunts him sitting there every day.
I don't know, God. These tapes have been keeping them up for nights, years now. It's all I've been able to think about. It's just been eating me up from the inside out.
And this does mean that Tom's dad, Luther, has been missing for 13 years, because his dad was transported into the game back in 1995. The year is now 2008, so this happened 13 years ago. So for the last 13 years, Tom has been without a father, which would explain why his dad's stuff is in this box. Within the box, there is a tape called S-Tapes, which contains Luther's confession, as well as more footage we haven't seen yet. And that's when the tape switches over to Kyle's perspective, with them holding the needlemouse tape. Kyle calls Tom back, but now Tom is busy looking at the tapes in Luther's old stuff, so he doesn't answer.
Tom, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's time to stop. I don't think we should keep messing with this game anymore. I was going through the files, right? And this shit just goes so much deeper than we both thought. I'm probably just gonna shelve this disc somewhere because having it here is just... it doesn't feel right.
Kyle approaches the tape and attempts to pick it up, but someone else grabs their hand. Sarah.
Kyle.
Sarah rips out Kyle's eyes and rips apart Kyle's body, limb by limb. And Kyle's brutal murder is presented to Tom. Tom is shown the entire thing. Having to witness the murder of his best friend leaves him in shambles. Sarah says, "I feel complete. But if I'm so complete, why don't I feel like it? Why am I not happy?" And as Sarah delivers this monologue, after murdering Kyle, a pair of glaring eyes peer over in the distance. Sarah has gone down a cruel path, now killing those who weren't involved in her murder. The line of justification was crossed, now that she's killed Kyle. Murdering a kid just trying to investigate some tapes for their YouTube channel. The final shot of the video is of a new person, trapped within the confines of Sarah's hell. Kyle, trapped within a disfigured silver sprite. The final message of the video: get up, Kyle. Tom is now left alone after having just witnessed the murder of their best friend. Sarah has grown ruthless, and it seems like she's going after Tom next.